And we are live. It's Dr. J in the house. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the major questions I get all the time with patients. Why is it so hard to lose weight or keep my weight stable and healthy as I age? I'm going to go into the underlying biochemistry of why that is and just some simple things that you can do about it. Before we do, please smash that like button. Really helps the search algorithm. Love to see your comments down below as well. All right. Who's had an issue where you've had a harder time losing weight, maintaining weight, and healthy body composition as you age? Who's been there, right? Lots of patients. I've been there myself. A couple things. We'll go into some of the biochemistry. First things first is we set in habits in our teens and early 20s, maybe even early 30s. We set in habits that, let's say, provide us certain results in our teen years, 20s, and maybe even early 30s that we're able to accomplish healthy weight, healthy body composition in spite of, right? We have healthy things going in our favor. We have higher growth hormone levels. We have higher testosterone. We have higher, healthier female hormone balance, maybe healthier progesterone to estrogen. We have better HGH. We have better thyroid. We have better insulin sensitivity. We can get away with more junky bad habits. And as we age, the chickens come home to roost, so to speak, where those bad habits, as the hormones become a little bit less optimal in a lot of those areas, those bad habits start to show through. The lack of efficiency in supporting healthy metabolism starts to show through. That's the first thing. So the first thing really just comes down to when your hormones are great, you can break all the rules. When your hormones aren't, then the habits that you have that aren't effective start to show through. So first thing out of the gate, let's kind of look at it. So first things, we have our thyroid glands. Our thyroid help control body temperature, metabolism, right? The more heat you generate, the more energy you generate, the more you can deal with the extra glucose, the extra calories on board as well. So that's a real thing. And so as our metabolism drops, that's a real thing too as we age. I mean, this is why you see all the seniors where they want to move as they get older. They want to move to Florida. They want to move to the southern states, right? Sunbelt states. Why? Because metabolically they're dropping. They get more cold in the winter. Obviously, joint issues too, and maybe more inflammation in their joints, and it feels better with more heat, but they have lower body temps. That's a real situation. Let me go into a couple of the mechanisms here. I'll break it all down for you guys, have it make sense. All right, so first things here, pull up this article here. All right, so this is looking at hypothyroidism right here as you age. So you have age group and you're looking at more hypothyroidism as you age. So lower thyroid function as you age. That's a real deal right there. Also, next one, let's look at this one here. Lower growth hormone. So you're looking at young females here. Look at these higher levels of growth hormone. Young males as well. Older females, look at the level, look at the drop, right? We're hitting, 50 or so at a young female, 30 or so in the males, and then we're cutting in half to even a third to a quarter. What's interesting is that the women have higher growth hormone than the men in this study. That's fascinating. I'd have to read more into that. But patterns of growth hormone secretion in younger and older women is a marked age-related decline in both sexes. Big thing I wanted to show is right here. There was one part here. The decline in growth hormone secretion observed with aging is associated with changes in body comp and physiological function. So really important. Changes include reductions in lean body mass and muscular strength, and an increase in body fat and visceral fat. And also memory and cognitive decline also happens as well. So I wanted to dive into the growth hormone part. Then we have the hypothyroid part. And then we have this is the insulin resistance part. So you can see here, as you age, insulin resistance goes up. And that's the study here that I pulled that from. It's a ResearchGate study. I'll pull that up right here so you guys can see it. All right, this is the study right here on ResearchGate. How much variance in insulin explained by obesity, and then it correlates it with age. So big things. Let me just break it all down for you. It's a lot, so I want to just highlight it. So those are my big three mechanisms here. So one, your thyroid drops as you age. We have increased TSH, increased hypothyroidism diagnosis as we age. So big graph. Increase hypothyroidism, increase age. Number two, we have increased insulin resistance. Your cells become numb to insulin. You need more insulin. Insulin is a lipogenic hormone. That means genic means to form, right? Genesis, like the first part of the Bible. And then lipo means fat. So lipogenesis, forming fat. And then we need to bring insulin down to upregulate hormones like hormone-sensitive lipase, which is a lipolytic hormone. Lipo meaning fat. Lytic means to break or to cut. Right? So it breaks fat. So we need to bring insulin down to be able to tap into our fat hormone. Thyroid hormone, increased thyroid hormone increases energy in the body, right? The hotter the furnace is, the more wood can go in that furnace. Everyone can have that visualization, right? Anyone that lived in a home that had a wood fire furnace, you had to put more wood in that grill or in that furnace to generate more heat. You generate more body heat, more calories, more fuel. So you can overeat. And again, calories don't necessarily matter because calories are a measure of heat in the science world, but calories also shift hormones. And so the healthier your calories are, the better your thyroid is, because that's a hormone input, and the better your insulin is. So if we're eating lots of processed food and lots of acellular carbohydrates, processed sugar, gluten, flours, those kind of things, more insulin resistance. And then, of course, growth hormone. Growth hormone helps all the hormones work better. As you can see there, growth hormone is going to increase testosterone. It's going to increase lean body mass. It's going to increase muscle. So what can we do about it? So the big mechanisms I'm proposing to you all here, insulin resistance, thyroid, growth hormone are all dropping. And then I would also say with women, especially as you go into menopause, this is a known phenomenon, menopause. You use up all the follicular reserve in your ovaries. All the hormone output now drops and is being totally relied on by the adrenal. So all the estrogen and the progesterone are dropping out. And we know that as estrogen and progesterone drop, guess what? We have an increase in insulin resistance. So as perimenopause and menopause and insulin resistance. Let me just pull up a study here for you guys so you can see that. I want to kind of put the cherry right on the end here. This is important here. So metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Hypoestrogenism worsens insulin resistance, which is also triggered by slow but progressive cortisol increase, right? So this part of aging is going to increase insulin resistance. So women who are getting more perimenopausal, that means they're getting closer to menopause. They may start to have hot flashes. They may have, this is the study right here so you guys can see it. Pull it up here real quick so you guys can see it. So women shift through perimenopause status to postmenopausal. Hypoestrogenism worsens insulin resistance, which also triggers the slow but progressive cortisol increase typical of aging. It's well known as cortisol induces gluconeogenesis. That means more glucose and thus further promotes insulin resistance. Right there for you guys so you can see it. And then this is the study in case anyone wants to look at it. Metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and menopause. Changes in body structure. All right. Hope that helps for you guys here. I just want to really give you the big picture. So what does this mean? So as you age, you have to be more on top of your macros. You may need less carbohydrates. You may need to be more on top of your inflammation status. It talked about in that study, right? Cortisol, right? Talked about cortisol problems. Cortisol can increase fat metabolism. Fat growth, right? Because you're mobilizing glucose. When your cortisol's high, it's like you're mobilizing a Snickers bar or a soda, even though you didn't take in that sugar, you're mobilizing it. So real quick here, it's well known, pull this back up for you guys. It's well known that cortisol induces gluconeogenesis. That means it's forming new glucose, further promoting insulin resistance. This is the whole thing. As you age, perimenopause, and with men too, with stress, you're literally eating a Snicker or soda worth of sugar in around that range without doing it. Your stress hormones are doing that. That's when someone says stress makes you fat. Why? It's mobilizing more carbohydrate, and it's also giving you cravings. So then you want to eat the more processed, crappy stuff. So what do you got to do? I recommend with my patients, I like to get really objective. So test your blood sugar. See how your blood sugar looks. Functional glucose tolerance test. So first thing out of the gate, fasting blood glucose, you want it under 100, 1 hour after a meal, below 120, 2 hours after a meal, below 100, 3 hours, definitely below 100. If it's too high, too much inflammation, too much carbohydrate. So get objective, get clear on that. Number 2, get your thyroid looked at. You could have an underlying autoimmune thyroid issue called Hashimoto's, where your immune system is beating up your thyroid, and that could be weakening your thyroid function too. There could be other nutrient deficiencies, low selenium, low zinc, low magnesium. Third, you could be a female going into perimenopause or menopause, and those hormones are dropping, thus making you more insulin resistant. So you got to look at the insulin, like I mentioned with the blood sugar, but also look at your female hormones. And then guys, similar with you, lower testosterone, lower muscle, lower growth hormone, more prone to insulin resistance. And of course, the cortisol and looking at the adrenals can be helpful because if your cortisol is out of whack, that can negatively impact your metabolism too. Hope you enjoyed today's video. So, you have to, 1, get your diet and your blood sugar in check, and make sure your nutrition's good and good, healthy anti-inflammatory fats. Be careful with the processed refined seed oils and vegetable oils that are more fragile and prone to oxidation. Number two, get your exercise dialed in. I like Tabatas. I like high intensity interval training. I saw a study from maybe last year that showed that 2 sprints a day for 30 seconds increase your HGH 100% for up to 1 day. That's pretty amazing. So we can increase growth hormone. I like Tabatas or 20 or 30 second sprints on an air bike, followed by a 20 or 30 second relaxation. Or you could even go longer, get your heart rate below 100 or so you can adapt to that stress. Third, get your hormones looked at. Get your female hormones looked at. If you're a woman, get your male hormones looked at. If you're a man, get your cortisol looked at. Get your insulin and your blood sugar looked at. And then resistance training is good. Muscle increases your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the more you can hold on to extra glucose and burn it up, the less your body's turning it into fat, and it increases your metabolism for another day or so afterwards. So resistance training movements, but interval training is simple too because you can do it. Not that hard. I like an air bike or an elliptical because you get arms and legs going, or outdoor sprints are also good too. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm just trying to break it down what the root underlying reasons why. It's a combination of habits. It's a combination of suboptimal routine, and then hormones are the canary in the coal mine. So exposes weakness in your routine, maybe even weakness in your genetics. So I hope that makes sense and helps you guys out a lot. If you want to dive in deeper, you want more functional medicine support worldwide, there'll be a link down below where you can reach out to my staff and team. We're happy to help you do these tests, work with patients all over the world to get the right support you need to get to the root cause of what's happening. And there's a lot of strategies and things that you can do. And if you go to a conventional medical person, they may just tell you, hey, you're aging. This is just how it is. And it doesn't have to be that way. So hope that helps. Links down below, and love to see your comments, guys. Take care. Have a good one.